that delay. So we're live on YouTube, we are live on the radio, we are live on TikTok, we are live everywhere. So
it's only 3:02.
It is only 3:02. Yeah.
Only 3:02.
And here's the thing. We're on time. We're professional.
We're on time. Right?
And our delay was not our fault. That was technology. So hey. We are here. It's 3 o'clock. Sunday afternoon.
That time again. I know I'm back from a 2-week vacation, apparently. Not one of my choosing, but I am back. We are back. It is the rules of Nerdquisition. It is Sunday. It's that time. It's that time for that thing that we do.
Obviously, that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. Last week you guys didn't review. I watched as I could. Didn't review any Star Trek last week. It was all TMNT basically.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to be TMNT, in between Thomas's rants of He-Man. So
yes, yeah. He was.
So perhaps one day we need to do a He-Man show so Thomas can get all of his feelings about He-Man out into the open.
But are you sure he won't divert and start talking about TMNT?
I don't know.
I mean,
he could do that too. He could do that too.
To be fair to everybody watching, this is a radio network run by hordes of ADHD.
Yes. ADHD runs this station.
Yes. Caffeine, THC, and ADHD run this station. There's no doubt about that. Sometimes stronger substances. But hey, we're back and we're going to review some Star Trek today, and then we're going to talk some other Star Trek stuff. There's a lot of Star Trek news that's come out in the last couple of weeks I want to talk about, but
yes, and
thank you, Michael Pruitt. Definitely Thundercats one day. We will get into that for sure.
Oh yes, we definitely got to talk about Thundercats. The Thundercats. And the only thing I wish about the Thundercats is that they would just go ahead and start making a live action one. Because I mean, we've got the technology. We got the CGI to where it looks believable, to where you can make a cat person. I mean, hell.
We have the technology. We can live action them.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they even had a musical a few years ago called The Cats. From what I understand, you see Idris Elba's butthole.
Yeah, we could probably skip on like kitty puckers.
Yeah, that is true.
In a live action version.
But
I've never heard of that, Pruitt. I did not know that they made a Thundercats live action. If they did, none of us nerds have heard of it.
None of us have seen it. And apparently, if it's not made to the light of day, there is a reason for it.
According to Google AI response, live-action Thundercats movie is in development, being directed by Adam Wingard, who is best known for directing Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay. All right.
But I don't see anything that suggests there ever was one. And according to this, rumors are that Henry Cavill did that. And I'm going to talk about some Henry Cavill rumors later, which is really weird because I had a dream last night that he died. And I had to, the minute I woke up, it was one of those dreams that was so intense, I had to, check. I had to, log into my phone and check news sources just to make sure that Mr.
Yeah, because sometimes you get dreams like that. It's like, oh, shit. Yeah, you need to... Yeah. Zio, what's going on, man?
Nothing was more disappointing than the dream I had, I think, in, junior high, when I had a dream that my aunt bought me a Ferrari, and I was just so disappointed when it wasn't in my driveway when I woke up.
All right.
Really sad. Really looking forward.
It's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. Yeah, but we're back again, talking about Star Trek, talking about the Deadly Years. Yes,
the Deadly Years. Yeah, season 2, episode 12.
Episode 12. Yes, yes.
This one freaked me out. We talked about this on the last show that I was here 2 weeks ago. Just being that I think all humans have some inherent fear of growing old and dying. And this episode is a little kid. Like, I was much more bothered by the concept of growing old when I was a kid than I am now. Now I'm kind of in that, can we just get it over with phase of life?
Right. Yeah. And I think we all,
terrible.
Yeah, I think we all as kids had that kind of just fear and anxiety just kind of thrown into us, hey, just afraid of growing old like that. Wanting to be an adult, but just don't want to grow old, because I don't know about you, but for me, when I was a kid, it was always the smell, because I didn't want to have the old people smell.
I don't know if I ever noticed that. I mean, I've noticed the old people smell in places like I worked for a moving company, early 2000s. And I did a lot of small moves like nursing homes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Nursing homes, hospice centers, stuff like that, they got a smell. Smell. But I don't remember my grandmother's house ever having a smell, so to speak. So.
Oh, no, it was always me. It was always me. Because I always have really... It's kind of like sensitive, smells like that. So a lot of times when I don't like hugging people, it's because you smell bad. And I'm trying to be nice. And I don't know if you smell...
Like, you're like,
You're like, that's why with some people I don't mind hugging. And some people I do. And so until I know exactly how you smell, I just take a step back until I pass by you enough times where it's like, okay, I can deal with it. Then, okay, let's hug.
Okay, fair enough. Mine isn't so much a smell so much as I have a perimeter. And like if you step within that 1.5...
Oh, yeah, you got that bubble. You got a personal bubble.
Are going off. It's going off in my brain. Like if I didn't lower the shields and allow you in, my alarms are going off. So,
yeah, that's fair too. You got your personal bubble. You got your space.
Stay out of my space. Penetrated my shields. That is a Starfleet violation. You illegally used my prefix code.
Right.
Drop my shields.
It's like, whoa, red alert.
My space.
And it sounds like, Captain Picard going, red alert, red. As soon as it violates that space.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm talking Death Star klaxons here.
Right?
Enterprise. I'm talking Death Star klaxon.
Yes.
The big one.
Zio talking about, don't say getting old. He's turning 40 next month.
I'm afraid the days of a 4 being a prefix to my age are over.
So mine are coming to an end.
Yeah.
So how about this, Zio? F you.
Get through your first half century first.
How about you?
Then we'll talk.
How about do that, man? So F you.
Do that, man.
F you, man. I'm just messing with you, Zio. I'm messing, man. Just messing with you.
We like to interact with our viewers. That's the fun part of the whole thing. But yeah, the Deadly Years.
Oh yes, the Deadly Years. And so, and hold up here. Michael Pruitt in the chat said, I went to say goodbye to my great grandfather of 100 to 101 when he was very young.
Wow.
He was mummy-ish.
Oh my gosh. I'm not sure how to react to that. Do I laugh or?
I want to laugh. I do want to laugh, but I don't know if it's an appropriate thing to laugh.
Yeah, I'm not sure the context of that.
Because the mummy-ish,
Yeah.
it got me. And I want to laugh because the mummy comment, I want. Why you gotta do this, Michael?
I'm sorry.
Why you gotta put us in a position like this? Okay? Why you gotta do this, man? I thought we were friends.
Thomas over in the YouTube chat. Hello, Jay Thomas. How you doing?
Jay Thomas, how you doing, fam?
We are transporting a Starfleet Commodore, the Starbase 10.
Giving a Commodore a ride.
Giving a Commodore ride. Commodore Stalker, who, by the way, was played by Charles Drake, a.k.a. Charles Ruppert, who passed away September 10th, 1974.
Boom, out of nowhere.
I was born.
Said boom, out of nowhere.
Oh, no scoping. No scoping.
Said that KD ratio intact, out of nowhere. Just.
I will spawn camp you with no shame.
And you see, 100% every time. So we open up going into taking the Commodore back. Why is it every Commodore in the original series of Star Trek, they're the worst in command? Like Commodore Decker. And now this Commodore. Yep. It's like is the Commodore a rank of where you fail up in Starfleet?
Apparently so. Because, I mean, I find until we got to the modern era of Trek with the big three, I found, I mean, we didn't really have many admirals in the original series, though.
No.
Commodores were kind of the replacement for admirals. But, I mean, even then, we had some pretty shoddy admirals in the big three, too.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. Not every officer is perfect. I get there are going to be some that makes mistakes, and I understand that wholeheartedly. However, when it comes to where you have a certain rank, some mistakes should not be made. That's all I'm saying.
But I mean, okay, look at it though. I mean, even TNG, you had Admiral Satie, who did the whole court thing with Picard.
Right.
She was a jerk. You had Admiral Pressman, who was blatantly breaking the Treaty of Algeron by developing cloaking technology and dragging poor Riker into it.
Obviously, yes. So
who was the short blonde woman? She was a bitch. And she had some like crossovers too. She was in Deep Space Nine up once or twice.
Ooh.
I couldn't stand her.
I know who you're talking about, but I cannot think of her name right now.
Admiral
I know exactly.
Chekov.
Yes.
Oh man. And the other ones are just incompetent. I mean,
yeah.
The admiral who brought Commander Shelby aboard the Enterprise during Best of Both Worlds. Well, what was the first thing? What was the first thing that Riker was told when they got to the Battle of Wolf 359 and it was over? The Admiral's ship has been destroyed. What happens when the Borg invaded in First Contact? The Admiral's ship has been destroyed. I mean, my
right?
God.
But
yeah, Commodore Stalker, quote unquote Admiral Stalker, is a jerk.
He is. He is. Although I understand, his heart was in the right place and stuff like that. Woefully over his head and completely incompetent, but I'll give him like this. His heart was in the right place. He was just not the right man for the job. Anyways.
He was not.
So, on their way, Enterprise and the crew, they
make a pit stop.
They make a pit stop at, what's this, Gamma Hydra IV. Gamma Hydra IV.
They got a resupply research team or some stuff like that.
Take them like, supplies, medical supplies, stuff like that. Because, You're out on a remote planet. You know, you may not have food. You may be able to make food there. You know, you're gonna need medicine. So hey, Amazon.
It's feasible to assume that not every planet that you go to is going to have food that's edible that grows there.
Yeah, so you may be able to grow food there. Food may be edible there. You never know. And
again, maybe you jump on subspace and you're just like, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to be here for another 6 years. Could you send me some Twinkies or something?"
Yeah, I mean,
my grandma used to do that for me or my mom would do that for me when she'd make me stay with my grandparents for like 3, 4.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain that you're that remote out in space. You got Amazon Prime, so I mean, you get it 2 days.
Well, yeah, I mean, she should be able to deliver pizza through.
I mean, seriously, she'd be able to DoorDash all the way out there. But yeah, Kirk and crew, they land on Gamma Hydra IV. And they're looking around and everything, and then Chekov wanders off into a building type of thing, an encampment, and he sees a dead body. So, well, naturally, what do you do when you see a dead body? You freak out. Like, yo, what the hell?
Forget all of your Starfleet training, your composure,
forget all of that.
So you're a bridge officer, so it's assumed that you've already gone through like the training, the command training.
Yeah, you've gone through all that. You've gone through the test, and you've gone through the piloting test. The psychological testing. All of that stuff like that. So you should not be kind of. But old people, like, yo, what the hell?
Old dead people is too much. That just freaks you out.
That just freaks you out. He jumps and it startles, and I get it that it startled him. You walk into a place that's dark. You don't necessarily think you're going to see a dead body in a place where there shouldn't be a dead body. So, to a point, I can understand it being shocked and surprised, but just not like, yo, what the hell? And being scared like that. I can understand like, oh shit. And then that's it. But that's just me. If I'm trained like that to be deep space like that, so yeah.
Startled is one thing.
Startled is another. Yeah. He was panicked. So he made his
rush, and we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Complete adrenaline rush.
Complete adrenaline rush, and that plays a part later. So when he makes all this noise, Kirk and crew, they come and see, what's going on. So we don't know, dead body in there. So they go look, see the dead body, and then trying to figure out what's going on. And Bones does a scan to say, yo, he died of old age, but he's like 20 something.
Right, and we get two other researchers that come stumbling in, and
yeah, they're
extremely old. Like you chose poorly when picking the Grail, didn't you?
You chose very poorly. Yeah, they did.
They grabbed that shiny gold cup. They were like, "Oh, this has got to be the
this is a king
of kings.
This is a king cup right here."
Right.
Yeah. So
and then they die after telling Kirk and crew that we're only like
they said, "I'm 29 and she's 27."
I just recently allowed to drink. And
so yeah.
Die.
And so then eventually they die. And we find out Kirk and crew are, the ones that are the away team start getting old.
They don't know. Yeah, Spock begins an investigation with Dr. Wallace. As they start to realize, like Spock, McCoy, everybody on the landing party is starting to grow old, except
Chekov. He said, don't know why. So they're running all kinds of tests on Chekov. Stress tests, running tests, exercise, everything to figure out why everybody else is aging but Chekov. And so throughout the whole time, Kirk is...
There's a comet that, like, passed by.
Yeah.
Spock and Dr. Wallace figure out, like, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know how comets make people grow old.
I don't know, but they figured that the radiation from the comet, they absorbed the radiation that was out in the ether, atmosphere, whatever you want to call it. You know, they absorbed the radiation and they started growing old. And then miraculously, you know, what they find out that Chekov, running out being scared, pumped up his adrenaline, which made him pretty much kind of sweat all that shit out.
Right.
Essentially, is like that. So, which I was...
Apparently, adrenaline rush is the cure for radiation poisoning.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't write this. We never claim that Star Trek logic is logical. We just report the news.
Yeah. I mean, for wrestling fans, it was adrenaline in his soul, every thought out of control.
Then maybe they should have sent a starship full of WWE heels and baby faces.
They should have. They should have.
And they could have been fighting the whole time, and ain't nobody going to get old.
I mean, you set up a whole WrestleMania there. Everybody's getting pumped up and jacked up and amped up, and it doesn't matter what kind of radiation out there. Everybody's sweating that shit out. Everybody.
Right, absolutely. So McCoy starts to go to work on this cure. As Spock and McCoy and Scotty and Kirk, they're all getting older. Kirk is getting befuddled and forgetting things. Alzheimer's is kicking in or whatever.
Absolutely.
Dementia, that sort of thing. And this is where Stalker, the most competent Commodore in Starfleet history,
he comes into play. And again, I understand meaning very well because of the situation where Kirk is getting old. He's forgetting a lot of things. His facilities are, not there what it used to be. He tells Spock, he say, yo, you got to take over, man, because Kirk is he's not fit right now. And
Grandpa Kirk, we're going to have to take your license away now.
Yeah.
You can't drive the family caddy anymore. I'm sorry. You just
can't. Sorry, Grandpa. We'll take you everywhere you got to go.
Yeah. Or call an Uber.
Right.
That's about all we can do for you. Spock does take over briefly, and one of the things I like behind the scenes is DeForest Kelley was a little upset because he was like saying he was only working like half days because he spent the other half of the day getting makeup on, and he was very jealous of Leonard Nimoy during this episode because as a Vulcan,
he didn't age as quickly. He didn't age as rapidly.
He didn't have to get nearly as much makeup as the human actors did.
And the thing is with DeForest Kelley already being, the Doctor already being older already.
Yeah.
So yeah, just one thing I thought was funny was that even through out of all of the wrinkles and the hair going gray and all of that stuff like that, not one of them ever develop any kind of hunch. Not one, all of a sudden, would start getting the dad bod with the belly out. Not one would start going bald. And it's like, yep. One of y'all is going bald. Somebody's going bald. One of you is going bald. One of y'all, your metabolism is not going to be, as how it was when you were younger. Come on.
William Shatner is a grandpa now, Jay Thomas, and we're going to talk about that after this episode review.
Oh yes, we we got a lot to say about with with Mr. Willie Shatner.
Willie Shatner.
Mr. Willie Shat.
Yeah. Even Spock begins to deteriorate mentally.
So eventually, yeah, it takes a while, but yeah, he does.
Stalker has to take command. Of course.
And then, of course, he does. And
every senior officer in Star Trek does. And I'm not limiting it to just this series. Kirk did it. He took the Enterprise from as an admiral, took it from two different captains. He took it from Captain Decker once, and it took it from Captain Spock in the next episode.
Yeah.
In the next movie.
So pretty much like if Kirk says, I want to pilot the Enterprise, then everybody's got to, whoever's captain is going to be booted out.
Right. Now, I don't know if this policy was in place during Kirk's time, but something that Riker did say in the series finale of TNG, All Good Things, when they were having, after the Enterprise saves, Picard and Beverly and them from the Klingons, and he's talking to Geordi and the crew, and he's like, "Oh, so you've got the Enterprise?" He's like, "Well, he said," and Riker says, "One of the benefits to being an admiral is that you get to choose your own ship." So,
well,
I mean, if that was a clause factor in Kirk's era, but it always seemed like he had to. I mean, first he had to go to Starfleet Command to get the Enterprise from Decker, and then he had that little speech with Spock, and Spock's like, "Just take it, man." Because I don't.
Spock is like, F it, dude, just go. Say, just go, man. F it, just go.
And I'm going to question this right here. So, according to a few different sources I just checked,
okay,
although there's no definitive date, it is generally accepted that McCoy is 5 to 6 years older than Kirk. I call BS.
No.
Kirk was 32 when he took command of the Enterprise as the youngest captain in Starfleet history.
Yeah.
McCoy was easily 45.
Easy.
Not closer to 50.
Yeah. No, I was thinking he was... Because I'm going by with the Kelvin universe of how they age, because it seems like roughly, their appropriate age at the time when Kirk first took command and they all were assigned to the Enterprise. Okay.
In that universe, could be 5 to 6 years.
Maybe. I would say, but Carl Urban, he doesn't look old, but he's an older guy.
He is an older guy. He just doesn't look as old compared to Chris Pine as DeForest Kelley looked compared to William Shatner during the time period. So. Yeah,
but I would say at that time, Chris Pine, as captain, let's say, instead of being 32, he was 30, and Bones there was 40 or 42 or something like that.
I just caught this. J. Thomas for William Shatner.
William Shatner. That's awesome.
Oh, Bill Shatner.
Oh, Willie Shatner.
So, as it stands, this Commodore, and I don't know how, again, you get stupidity and inexperience gets promoted up in Starfleet. He has no command experience of a starship.
So, no, it seems like all of his command experience is on a space station.
And apparently he has no knowledge of Starfleet treaties or boundaries or territories, because he's just like, you know what? I got to get to Starbase 10. We're just going to fly right through the Romulan neutral zone.
Yeah, and everybody's telling this is a neutral zone, and?
That's against the law, sir. That's against the law.
So, if we cross into it, then...
Commander, I am Commodore Donald J. Trump, and you will do what I say. I'll write an executive order.
Is that right? And they're like, we cross over there, we're going to be starting a war. And? I said go.
Guess what happens?
And then
what happens when they cross into the neutral zone? And I'll give our viewers 3 guesses. Your first 2 don't count.
Starts with an R, ends with an S, right. And it rhymes with Romulans.
Right.
Just to give you a clue.
And
Just to give you a clue.
They don't come. They don't come bearing gifts and putting.
Said no.
Lays over their, He
said no. And it's just not like
flowers that the one people did wrapped around their.
Of course not. This is the Romulans we're talking about. Of course not.
No. The most devious species in Star Trek lore. They're always plotting something. I don't believe anything a Romulan says ever.
Yeah. Seconded only by the Cardassians. And
yeah.
And here's the thing. Romulans don't come just like, just one ship or two. No, they came deep. 8 ships deep.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to start some shit. That's what they were planning on doing. And they started some shit.
They started some shit. And of course, the Enterprise is in total peril. We're all about to die.
Mm-hmm.
When the magical adrenaline cure to space radiation poisoning is developed. After, of course, but they can't just find the cure. It's, Spock is like, Kirk's like, I'm going to try it first. And Spock's like, well, it could work.
It could work. Or
it could also kill you.
Well, that's...
anyway.
Well, that's every medication that you could take. I mean, but, hey, it is what it is.
He was basically one of those commercials for like when you're watching TV and you see a new medication and they're like, this drug at the very end of the commercial real fast. They're like, this drug
says side effects could cause,
this, death. Like, damn.
Side effects could cause, drowsiness, sleepiness, dizziness, shitting on yourself, diarrhea, death, menopause. Said menopause, gender reassignment. It could cause any kind of thing.
It could cause everything.
Like it could cause everything, and you could die and come back to life at the same time. And it's like, what?
I know. It's like half of these. It's like, just give me the ailment and I'll deal with it.
Right.
Like, I'll just take some Aleve and go from there. And if it don't work, it don't work.
So just give me.
I'm sorry.
So give me
the side effects are worse than the ailment itself.
Right.
Well, I mean, especially think about some like, I know psoriasis is pretty serious. I know some people that have had that, and some people that have had it pretty extremely. And I can understand not just the the emotional toll it has going out public, when you have breakout or something like that.
Right.
I know it's very uncomfortable and stuff like that. But I mean, like some of the drugs I've seen for that, it's just like your immune system crash and you could die painfully. Like, if I would probably just get some calamine lotion and
the
best.
All right.
I'm
get
not
some.
Saying that would work. I don't have psoriasis, but
if one of the
crashing of my immune system,
then it's like let me get something with some oatmeal in it or something. Let me get one of those oatmeal lotions. Let me take an oatmeal bath or something. You know what I mean?
So in pure Star Trek fashion, Kirk takes the remedy. It does work. Of course.
The
aging begins to reverse, and he rushes to the bridge to save the day.
Yes. So, and how did he save the day, you may ask? I'll tell you how. This is how he did it. He decides that, and honestly, it's great kind of fake out to it. He basically played poker with him. Sent out a message on the channel that they hacked, saying that Starfleet Command, it's the Enterprise, we're shrouded, taking a heavy hit, we're damaged, we're going to initiate self-destruct, with this new Corbomite
device, which is the second time.
The second time that it's been mentioned.
Bluff. Because he did it in the Corbomite maneuver, named. with the giant light bulb ship and the little
Yes.
alien.
And so he used the newly installed Corbomite machine, and because of that, it's going to cause an explosion of 200,000 kilometers wide, and everything in it is going to completely be, destroyed, dissipated, and this is going to be declared as a dead zone for the next 4 solar years.
Right. Everyone's going to die. So the Romulans are
so
like,
everybody's going to die. So Romulus like, oh, F this.
F this. We're backing up. And then Kirk is like, psych!
Said,
maximum warp.
He said, ha, sucker, gotcha. Warp 8, let's go. And they dip out. And again.
And they dip out.
Great move. Great move. I would say this because he knew if he fought, he was going to lose. It was going to start a war. So the only thing he could do is haul ass.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good look into Kirk as a strategist.
Yes.
He's supposed to be the brilliant strategist, so the wartime strategist. That's what separated him from Commodore Stalker, is that he had the command experience aboard a starship to perform this maneuver in the first place. And knowing that, like, hey, we get them to back off this amount of space, and then we're dipping.
Yeah, well, of course.
I got a jet, fellas. I got a jet.
Yeah. Well, of course, not only that is simply because that the crew told the Commodore, because the Commodore never dealt with the Romulans before. They know how the Romulans are. They know what the Romulans will do. So they're trying to tell him, it's like, yo, we got to run. We got to run and we got to fight. We got to do something. But we just cannot stay here and let them just keep doing this, because they will destroy us and they will start a war because we're in their territory.
That's what they've been doing that for centuries. They're just looking for a reason to start a war. They've enacted conspiracies and coups to try and start wars. You just finished Enterprise recently that you mentioned.
Yeah.
You saw the few episodes with the Romulans in it, although we never saw them. I mean, you imagine by this point that the Federation is just even catching up to their level of technology, let alone taking one ship against 8.
Right. And it's just now getting up to almost to where it's at. Then Romulans have still surpassed them, but they've gotten out to where they could at least hold some kind of defense against them. But that many ships, they were going to be destroyed. They knew that.
Yeah.
Kirk knew it. The crew knew it. But the Commodore's like, just let me talk to him. We can explain that, this is a misunderstanding and we just need to. And Uhura was like, sir, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They won't do that.
They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to rationalize with you. They're not going to broker peace with you. You gave them exactly what they wanted. You walked up to their front door, and you're like that. I hate to use such a macabre metaphor, but you remember that case recently? I'm only thinking of it because the guy died. The case of the young black kid that knocked on the wrong door.
Yeah.
And the old white dude just gunned him down.
Yeah.
And that old white dude he got convicted of the crime, and of course he just died. Good riddance, sir.
Right. And so
hope you're burning. I hope you're burning in the place I don't believe in.
Absolutely. Yeah. So same concept.
The Romulans are that dude hiding behind the door, waiting for just any old.
Just waiting for him. Yeah. And what your dumb ass do? Exactly, just what he wanted. Stepped right into his yard.
Yep.
He stepped right into his yard.
Romulans came out swinging like Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino. Get off my lawn.
Right? And then, so Jess, I should watch Trek? Yes, you should watch Trek. Duh.
Oh, gosh. That's... Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna need to write a book for Jess. She's like, hasn't watched Star Wars,
Oh my God.
Trek. What was
Yeah.
it the other day in our group chat? There, there was a whole list of movies, and she's like, I've seen like 2 of those out of like, oh, girl, you must be
Yeah.
nerdified. You must be nerdified. I'm just saying.
And
But as always,
and again on
Kirk
that,
saves the day.
yeah, Kirk saves the day. He gets a shot of the space adrenaline that gets into his soul, and every thought gets out of control, and he does it all to get everybody on their feet. For anybody that watches wrestling, you'll know what that means. So,
okay, so there's some. Oh, Marvel. Yeah, she said
yeah,
Marvel.
yes, Marvel.
We can guide you to the ones you should watch
Yeah,
and help you avoid the ones that.
because I mean, not all of them, you need to watch, because a lot of it is just filler and just BS stuff. I mean, unless you're just a fan of this one particular thing, but as far as
There
the
are
overall
35
storyline,
movies currently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
yeah,
You do not need to watch all 35.
yeah. As far as to get the overall storyline, you don't need to watch all of them.
I almost hesitate to even say that I'd like probably skip Thor 1 and 2, but 2 kind of, even though it's bad,
It
as a setup for
it sets up for the story, yeah.
Yeah, that's sadly enough, because it's the Dark Elves. Or even said it himself, and Endgame's like, we're attacked by Dark Elves.
Ooh,
That's what everyone said. It's like, Dark Elf, what?
Dark Elves.
Drow in space. But it is important to note that Star Trek New Voyages, which was sort of a fan-based series that replaced Star Trek Phase 2 that ran from 2008 to 2015, had a sequel episode to this in which was written by DC Fontana, one of my favorite original series authors.
Right.
And also starred Walter Koenig, who reprised his role as Chekov, and he, in this episode, was afflicted with the disease.
Okay.
So it was a rapidly aging Chekov in the sequel.
So there's Chekhov not getting off that easy.
No, you got to come back and get yours, bro.
And obviously, this had to be kind of like an inspiration for that movie Old with M. Night.
The M. Night
Shyamalan Ding Dong.
And we're contractually bound to say this now whenever Shyamalama Ding Dong is brought up. Mr. Thomas Bishop is still waiting for his $17.75, sir. He wants it.
Yes.
And he wants it now.
He's expecting his $17.
You can call him Thomas the Villain Wentworth. It's his money and he wants it now.
Says yes. And also, $24 you owe me, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. $24. I want my money.
Give me back.
I know you got it.
Value of the more than 2 hours that he has stolen from me, be it Signs, Old, The Village, The Happening, which is the one that Thomas wants his $17.75 back for.
Yeah.
I mean, not Signs.
So The Happening is what he wants his money back for. The Village is what I want my money back for. $24. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. I know you got it. You got my money. I know you got my money. I want my money. I know you got it.
Yeah. I mean, the only 2 that I really like, The Sixth Sense, but it was only good one time. After you've seen it that time, it's kind of...
Yeah. It's like you know what it is, and so it's like there's no point in watching it again.
Unbreakable was a good movie. I like the concept. Especially the whole thing, the kind of relationship between Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis. The movie steadily got worse. Split was and Glass was what?
Glass was it tried too hard to set up M. Night Shyamalan Avengers. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be.
His own shared universe, yeah. And I since we brought his name up, we invoked the demon. After Earth is garbage. I think this needs to be said. The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Bro,
that was one
in movies. I mean, there should be he should have multiple felonies on him at this point. Why has he not been arrested? Why is he still allowed to roam free? He doesn't have the same immunity as President Trump. What is going on here? Why is he allowed to interact with humans?
Like, why? Why is he allowed? Why is he allowed to roam free and to produce just shit like this? Like, why? Who decided to let his ass just roam free willy-nilly all this like this? Not me.
He made one movie and everyone was like, wow, this is the new filmmaker of the next generation. And they just gave him a blank check to do whatever garbage he wanted to do. And he wrote some garbage. Right.
It was...
still don't make sense to me.
Nothing of it does.
It comes up.
And I think what it is that he tries so hard.
How do aliens who are susceptible to moisture and water walk around on a planet whose atmosphere is 90% water without protective suits?
How?
Make that make sense.
And it's the same way.
Suspension of disbelief, but it only goes so far.
Yes. The same way about with the grass and the trees trying to kill people.
And it would have even made more sense if they just kind of like, maybe they freaked out and then just died, like were poisoned. Why did it make people lie down in front of lawnmowers and stuff?
Yeah. Like, nothing to explain it. No kind of chemical that was dumped into the water and like effect. No, it's just one random day.
Scarecrow, spear toxin, and Batman Begins made infinitely more sense.
Yes.
I could even understand like construction workers being on a building, because you had that one scene in the beginning where all the people were leaping off the building. The gas hits them, and they're disoriented and they're all poisoned and they just start falling. Okay, that makes sense. But like people walking, like picks up the cop's gun, shoots themselves. The next person walks up, picks up the gun next to the body, shoots themselves. Oh, it was shock value simply for the point of shock value. With no logic behind it whatsoever.
After that, it was just downhill. I mean, that's all there is to it, just downhill. And it there's just some people there's just some people that just don't need to be talked about, and he's one of them. Anyways, so needless to say, back to the episode. It was I liked it. It was one of those kind of interesting episodes that it just kind of put the crew in a weird situation. It's definitely something different than your AI or your
computer attacking us.
Yeah,
we had to outwit with limericks and puzzles.
Yeah, not like that or just
tongue twisters. Like
the one unknown weird alien that just has the godlike power. The premise of it was ridiculous on how they grew old like that, but still, it was a different change of pace to kind of see them, in a capacity like that. How would they get out of it? What would be, the cause of the solution? And so I enjoyed it. Just something, it was different change of pace on it.
Yep. Yep.
So
I did like the episode. Like I said, it had the effect that it wanted to have. As a kid, it freaked me out. It scared me. It was
of
one of the
course,
episodes I didn't like a whole lot as a kid, but I've come to appreciate later in years, especially as you start to learn the nuances and dive into the extra details.
yeah, yeah, and then
And realizing that
Yeah.
all Starfleet upper command is
they're
grossly
just
negligent.
they're just horrible at command, and just like how say does Starfleet fail up in everything?
Right. I will give TOS this though, that in the original series, they very seldom, if any time in the original series, I know they did in the movies a few times, use the the Enterprise is the only ship in range cliche.
I think a couple times. There were a couple times I think that it happened, but it wasn't really often. Yeah.
Like, and then there's one,
But-
I don't know if it was, I think it was a movie where at some point someone says, well, we're the only ship in the quadrant. The only ship in the quadrant? Quadrants are huge.
Right? Yeah.
The galaxy
'Cause,
is
I mean-
huge. It has 100 billion stars, and it's divided into 4 quadrants. So you can imagine how big a quadrant is. Why are there never any ships at Earth? I would have a whole fleet there, like Starfleet, Fleet Number 1, assignment Earth.
So yes, like it's Starfleet, fleet, not like Star Uno, Starfleet. Like it's in the name, fleet. I could understand in like the unexplored quadrants, like you get to past the when you get into the Gamma quadrant. You go through the wormhole at DS9, you go through the Gamma quadrant, and I get it. I get there being, the only ship in that quadrant because that quadrant's been unexplored. So I can understand that being the one far out remote quadrant like that. But as far as just Alpha, Beta, Charlie, and Delta quadrant, there should be ships all around, just there.
Yeah, and they've made a couple references to at times, like, well, this ship is all the way in Beta quadrant. I know that Earth is in Alpha quadrant, but it's not that far from the border
Right.
of Alpha and Beta quadrant, because DS9 is in Beta quadrant, Bajor's in Beta quadrant.
Yeah.
They're far away. I get it. It's not called Deep Space Nine for nothing. I mean,
Right, but still, so anyway, so yeah. So
Starfleet just makes weird decisions, like in Nemesis when they go into that like expanse, that green cloud, and all of a sudden they lose their communications with Starfleet, and then the fleet that's waiting for them, rather than moving to meet them, like, let's just head towards each other and we'll meet up when we get there.
yeah.
Why rendezvous?
And
I don't know. Anyway, the episode
I
was
don't
good,
know.
though. I did like it. It wasn't, it wasn't necessarily something that was expected as far as the typical formulas of the original series, and it had that emotional pull on it. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
it also gave tugged at that fear and that anxiety of that you have as as a kid when scared of growing old, scared of what happens when your luscious locks that you have, and all of a sudden your luscious blonde locks become gray. What happens when
I'm already getting it raised, but that's one benefit to being blonde is you can't see them
right? I mean,
mixed with the other blondes.
and what happens when your normal color beard now all of a sudden is white, like it all of a sudden starts becoming white when your normal hair color is black. But then What happens when you start getting white? You start getting whites, and then what happens when the wrinkles start happening? And then what it tugs on that fears. So
It does.
I liked it. Yeah. So
I did like it. It was very good. So yeah,
you got to reset this show. Reset the show.
Yes. It is almost 4 p.m. This is the Rules from Nerdquisition, hosted by myself, Gretchen, and Gilbert, broadcasting live on gcpr.live and live streaming to YouTube and 2 different places at Rules of Nerdquisition, our YouTube channel, and also at Ghost Claw Productions, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. So we're all over the place today.
Yeah.
We're broadcasting live on TikTok as well. So thank you to everybody. We've got handfuls of people in all the different locations. So we appreciate everybody watching. Next week, we will be reviewing Star Trek Obsession. That is the name of the episode. It's the vampire cloud.
Dum, bum, bum.
Chasing, or he's got a vendetta. He's had run-ins with it before.
Yes. So tune in for that one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. There we go.
We already had this conversation with somebody else in their almost 40, early 40s earlier in the show. Well, hear your old talk right now, okay?
Oh, well, good luck with turning 43. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm watching 51 sail into the distance now. But seriously though, you could actually, if you wanted to get into Star Trek, you could skip the original series if you wanted to. I would recommend it, but I mean, if you don't have access to watch it and watch the movies, just understand that the first movie starts at the completion of Captain Kirk and crew's 5-year space mission.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch the original series just for context stuff, but it's not necessary. The
movies would pick up.
Yeah, the movies would definitely give you everything you need to know. So,
1 is not great. 2, 3, and 4 are largely a trilogy.
Yes.
All the events in each movie affect the next. Star Trek 2 is largely considered to be the best, and I don't disagree with that. You can skip 5 altogether. William Shatner directed it. You could just skip it. It has nothing to do, has no impact on the overall universe whatsoever. Just ignore it. Pretend it never happened. I do.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you just be confused. It just leave you confused as to why. Why was this made? Why was this made?
And then Star Trek 6 was good.
Yes. But I would definitely say the big 3, as we dub the big 3, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Those are the main 3 you definitely want to see. Mm-hmm. And as far as like the newest ones that are concerned, definitely check out Discovery.
Discovery is fantastic.
Definitely check out Discovery and Strange New Worlds.
Speaking of up-and-coming things in the Star Trek universe, there are 2 projects I want to talk about today.
Yes.
Going back to Jay Thomas's comment earlier of Bill Shatner.
Of William Shatner. So, but while you get started, I got a 4-legged tiny terrorist that's holding me hostage for a treat.
Okay, you take care of the little one. It was recently announced in the news that William Shatner is in talks or negotiations to reprise the role of Captain Kirk. Now, at face value, this wouldn't be something that would bother me that much. That's at face value. There are some nuances here. There are some things that need to be talked about, some things that need to be mentioned in regard to this. First of all, notwithstanding, Bill Shatner is 93 years old. He's 93 years old. By military standards alone, he would be long retired. If his character wasn't dead. Captain Kirk famously died on screen in Star Trek 7. It didn't really have a number, but Star Trek 7, the first of the Next Generation movies, Star Trek Generations. He's dead. And he died at some point in his 50s, maybe 60 years old, canonically. He's dead. How is Kirk, age 93, going to justify this? Now, he said in the article he wasn't going to. He's been asked many times to come back and play Kirk, and that he would only do it if it meant something. He didn't want to do cameos. He didn't want to do a one-off. They're talking about making a Paramount Plus series. Bill Shatner is
No.
Kirk is dead.
Let Kirk
Make this make sense.
Let Kirk stay dead. It'd be one thing if it were like, say, like an audio drama and it took place, while Kirk was alive and, Shatner was just voicing it. That's one thing and I could deal with that and that's cool. But not a whole new series. Not a whole new series and he's still alive and nope.
How is he alive now? Now my brain's already going into overdrive about how they're going to do this. But I mean, like, my first thought was like, okay, imagine that Kirk didn't die in Star Trek Generations. I wouldn't mind a television series where an old Kirk is reminiscing about his days in Starfleet. I'd be okay with that. But again, he's dead. So for those of you that haven't seen Star Trek Card, which is a fantastic series as well, I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
There is a brief glimpse in season 3 when they are breaking into like Starfleet archives. Apparently, Kirk's body was recovered from Meridian 3, where he died in Star Trek Generations, and was put into storage. His corpse was put into storage at Starfleet archives. So
for reasons.
For reasons. So here we go. Oh, we've cloned Kirk, and we allowed him to grow old. No more clones.
And William Shatner. Thank you, Jay Thomas, for that one. Forever now, he will be called Willie Shatner.
Willie Shatner.
So
he's a curmudgeon in his old age for sure.
Yes, yeah. So Willie Shatner is 90-something years old.
93. 93
years old. How mother flipping long do you think he's going to be able to do a whole new show?
Yeah, and again, he doesn't want to do like a one-off. So, I mean, I have to assume at the very least it would be one season.
Yeah.
And let's look at Star Trek Unification, that little short that he produced several months back. The de-aging technology they used in that was fantastic. But this short, it's only like 10 minutes long. Can you imagine the amount of money it would cost to do that for an entire series if they were going to have Kirk on screen, not
right?
By another person?
Yeah. And it'd be one thing if, even if he were still alive, and let's just say they're going to do this whole premise where he's still alive and whatnot. Instead of having it, because I know he's going to want to be on the bridge of the Enterprise and going out and doing the adventures and blah, 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 blah. Why not have him in Starfleet? At Starfleet HQ, doing admiral things, and or in retirement, blissful retirement, and then he's got to I don't know, anything else, anything.
They waited
just
too long
not like having to do any kind of action or something like that. Just kind of a reminiscing type of thing, or just something where he's in the background, something like that. Just no.
I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to like him, playing an older Kirk, reminiscing about his days in Starfleet, and having I don't know his name off the top of my head, the guy who plays Kirk in Strange New Worlds, young guy.
Oh yeah, that guy, yeah.
And you could reminisce and have him play the young Kirk. I'd be fine with that, but we still have to deal with the elephant in the room. Kirk is dead.
Yes.
He ain't reminiscing about anything. He's worm food.
Yes. I mean, now let's say the time period of it takes place, just before his death, and he decides that he's writing out his memoirs. okay, I can live with that. You know, because it takes place just before he died, and he's writing out his biographies, memoirs, you know, whatever you want to call it. Cool, but not like where he is going onto the ship or anything like that. No, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I just now again, I want to go back to the clone thing because that's been suggested online as well. I wasn't the only one to think of that.
Right.
After the debacle that was Star Trek Nemesis,
Mm-hmm.
which gave another beloved character crappy ending, a crappy death. I mean, I understand Mr. Shatner is very upset with the way that Kirk was offed in Star Trek Generations. A lot of us were.
Yes.
And even though I have gripes with Bill Shatner these days, I still love the character and the idea of Kirk. So, I mean, yes, I was not happy with the way they killed him. Here's another thought, though, and this is bear in mind. This is, and you know this. I'm not a huge fan of the Kelvin timeline, but he could portray an older Kirk in the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah.
Reflecting back.
Yeah.
As Chris Pine as Kirk.
I could live with that. I could live with that.
And in that timeline, he didn't die.
Yeah. And I could live with that, you know.
But
exactly.
That would almost, to me, should be a movie. Instead of a Paramount Plus TV, this should be a movie. That would be big.
Paul Wesley,
especially if you brought it.
Paul Wesley, that's his
Kirk.
That's the new Kirk
from Star Trek or Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think that you could have Bill Shatner reminiscing about Chris Pine and say you brought back the cast of, you know, the Kelvin timeline Trek crew and not be a major motion picture. I mean, and bear in mind, Star Trek, although it's been up and down, is still in development. They're planning to make one more. It's inching along, but not.
It's still there.
It's there.
Hey, I'll be back in a second. Tiny terrorist again.
Tiny terrorist is back again. But I mean, these are all theories, and you know, anybody who's watching, if you have theories as to how they could bring Kirk back, if you're as interwoven in Trek history and lore as Gilbert and myself, I mean, we need it to make sense. And I guess even Bill said it himself in his article. It has to mean something, him coming back. And I agree, but it has to make sense also. It can't just mean something. It has to make sense. And I just don't know how they're going to do this in the way that they're proposing they're going to do it. So
what they need to
wait
do.
And see.
No, honestly, what they need to do is
let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah. Or just do like how we've suggested, and just you know, have him be an older Kirk reminiscing about his times. And
another timeline.
Yeah. Any other timeline when he didn't die. You know.
If you clone him and bring Tom Hardy in to play the younger Kirk, I'm gonna flip my lip.
I'm gonna be like, what then?
Nobody knew who I was till I put on the toupee.
Right. But oh my God!
I just let it go. Just, like I told you, Gilbert, when we were texting about this show. When I think of Star Trek, he is not the first face that pops in my head anymore. He's not synonymous with Trek anymore in my mind. Or Trek is not synonymous with him. I mean, he is synonymous with Trek, obviously, unless you were really, really a rabid T.J. Hooker fan in the 80s. I mean,
but other than that, I mean, everybody's going to think, people hearing this is going to say, T.J. who?
Exactly my point. And more mainstream people wouldn't even know. I mean, I guess he did play Denny Crane on that one law television show with James Spader.
Boston Legal,
thank you. And he won an Emmy for that. And I'm glad he got his accolades finally, in years to come. But what else do you? I mean, when I think of Shatner, I think Star Trek. But when I think Star Trek, I don't necessarily think Shatner.
Yeah.
I think of the big three. I think modern Trek, even as good as Discovery and Strange New Worlds was, the big three.
Yeah, it's automatically, instantly, it's either Deep Space Nine, Voyager, or Next Gen.
I see Picard and Cisco and Janeway and Paris and Data and Worf and here.
Yeah.
We see them all. I mean, I could list the whole thing. Those are the bases that run through my mind.
That's
when I think.
Yeah, because essentially that is, and I won't even try to say like comparing it with Star Wars, is that is that this new franchise is geared towards it. No, this is a franchise that's geared towards Trek fans, not just kids or not just adults or not just Trek fans. So for us, it's the big three.
And to even further complicate this whole situation, that little short that he produced, which was brilliantly made, by the way, Unification, was basically Kirk going to heaven.
Yeah.
After he died.
And it's just like him saying,
reuniting in the afterlife.
Yeah. It's just more or less like him coming to peace with everything that he's done and greeting his friend. And again, just like you said, it's a beautiful masterpiece. It really is. And I think it just needs to stay just like that. And I get
what
that.
What they should have done is just put a capper on it, like the next Star Trek movie that comes out. Remember how, like, when we were kids, we'd go to movies, they'd have like a cartoon or something or a little short.
Yeah.
Or the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going to see Godzilla in 1985 with my dad, and famously shown before the movie was Godzilla meets Bambi.
Yes.
It's a 4-minute animated film of Bambi eating grass in the middle of the woods, and then all of a sudden, wow! Boom. and with Bambi's tiny little legs sticking out from underneath this monstrous lizard's foot.
Isn't it? Exactly. Yeah.
Make another big Star Trek production film and just put it at the beginning as a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, it's those little shorts that they do on Paramount Plus of just like different points, short treks. Just a little different periods in Star Trek and different characters and whatnot. Those are great little shorts. Like, those are great pieces. And
why isn't it not on? Why is it not on Paramount Plus as a short trek? It should be.
Yeah. I mean,
we're looking at you, Paramount.
Paramount Plus. Paramount. You're sitting on a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine.
And we drop your name 10 times an episode over here, and we're not getting anything for it. All we want is Paramount Plus with no ads.
Yeah. So we're not
sponsor the show, and we will talk about you forever and ever and ever.
So we're not asking, to be on the payroll. We're not asking, for $100K a year. We're not asking none of that. We're just asking for Paramount Plus with no ads. No ads.
That's all.
All you gotta do is just
talking what, a $15-$16 value per month for.
All you gotta do is just send an email to your system admin and just say, hey, make sure they get the no ad. Check no ads on them.
Yeah, we've already got the accounts. Just we want them for free with no ads. That's all. And something that we talked about in our staff meeting at GCPR the other day is that because our live our shows are broadcast live, yes, and we're dropping your name and other companies all the time, they're also being recorded for all time.
Yeah.
On YouTube, so you have forever advertising.
So I mean, and the only thing we just want, no ads. That's it.
And on a sub note, stop selling out like there was for a while there. Like you had all the series, but like I couldn't get access to all the movies. They just came back a few months or 6 months ago. They were like licensed out to like HBO. I'm not buying HBO. I'm sorry. I am absolutely love the Harry Potter series. Like everyone else, I fell in love with it. J.K. Rowling can go to hell. And even though John Lithgow was one of my favorite actors, who's now been cast to play Dumbledore, I will not, under any circumstances, watch that show. The reboot that's coming, series that's coming to HBO. I will not watch it. So keep the Star Trek movies on Paramount where they belong. They belong to you, belong to us. Give us Paramount Plus for free. No ads. Everybody's happy.
Please.
And thank you. Peas and carrots. Peas and carrots. Okay. Wow. Next up in Star Trek news, and this one has me excited because it came out of nowhere. I didn't even know it was coming. But just the other day, it was mentioned in the news that Star Trek Khan has wrapped production. It is an audio drama starring Naveen Andrews, who famously played Saeed in the TV series Lost, which is my comfort series, by the way. I can love that show. I will take no slander. Even on the finale, I'll take no slander.
It's a great show. Only thing is, I just didn't like the finale, but that's my own personal thing. Great show.
That's fine. I love the show, though. As a whole, the show was fantastic. But Naveen Andrews will be voicing Khan. This was originally, as I understood it, was supposed to be a 3-episode miniseries in which Naveen Andrews was going to be live-action Khan.
Okay.
But they decided that it was just too expensive for only 3 episodes. So they decided to make an audio drama. But I just want to throw this out there. Okay, if it was too expensive for 3, why not just do 10? You're covering. So the premise behind this audio drama is to cover the 20 years in between Kirk exiling Khan and his people to SETI Alpha 5 up to the point when they escape SETI Alpha 5 via the Reliant and then go off to battle Kirk in the events of Star Trek 2. I would love to know. I think it would be a fantastic story. Not to say I don't like audio dramas. We both love Helios.
Absolutely.
So I think this could work.
But
I think it could
honestly,
work.
I think I'd love to see that as either a live action movie or a series.
Yeah. I mean, it should be. It should be a movie or a series, but like I said, they opted to go with the audio format, and it's already wrapping production. It's supposed to release this year. No specific date, but it's done. They're in post-production. So.
Yeah. But it would have been cool. I'm just saying it would have been great to see it as a live action because,
of course,
for me, Naveen Andrew is perfect as Khan. Like, I mean,
he looks the part. Not like
not like Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, but yeah, you look at him and he were to tell you, my name is Khan Noonien Singh. I believe that. Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch is, my name is Khan Noonien Singh. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah, you need to share your theories on that, because I agree with your thoughts on how Star Trek Into Darkness should have gone, but it was your realization. I think you should share that, because I agree with it 100%.
Wait, which one? Because I'll be high and I get
about Benedict Cumberbatch not being Khan.
Oh yeah, see,
and instead,
here's for anybody that doesn't know. Okay. This has been my kind of theory that how I thought Star Trek Into Darkness should have gone. Instead of making Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan Noonien Singh, instead, keep Benedict Cumberbatch as John, whatever his name. I'm just going to say John Smith.
John Harriman.
Harriman.
That was the captain. No, that was the captain of the Enterprise B. My bad.
I'll just say John Smith then. Just keep him as John Smith. Say, John Smith, and he was one of Khan's generals. And he took over for Khan when Khan died on SETI Alpha 5. Boom. Simply. And then it still opens up to where, at the point where, to recreate the whole Khan between Shatner and Montalban, instead it's going to be Quinto and Cumberbatch, and he goes, John! Which, but still, I mean, it would make more sense for Benedict Cumberbatch just to say, John Smith instead of, oh, I disguise my identity as Khan Noonien Singh. No, man, why? Khan wouldn't hide like that anyways.
No, he wouldn't. And even in they didn't address it on screen, but I guess side material suggests that he had undergone plastic surgery and stuff to not look the same, and then that's not unreal in Star Trek. They do it all the time to look like aliens,
but still, here's the thing. And I would have accepted Into Darkness better if it was just a quick little throwaway line saying that originally, when we were outcast, we were there with Khan, or he died, or, we mutinied, or, we revolted, we took over, something like that, and Khan is dead. And now I'm the one that's in command. I'm John Smith. I'm in command of this.
Augment?
Yeah.
But you replaced a character who was portrayed by a man of color on screen of Indian descent with a white dude. And people are always like, well, how can you make the Little Mermaid black? Well, we make Khan white.
Yeah, so...
He wasn't white.
And he never was white.
He was never white.
And with the name
Indian warlord. He was an Indian warlord.
And with a name like
what?
Khan Noonien Singh, does that really sound like a white guy?
Although Naveen Andrews was born in the UK and is a UK citizen, both his parents are from India. He's of Indian descent. How do you not get the perfect person? He's right there.
He's right there. He looks the part of Khan, but he talks like Benedict Cumberbatch. So, you have the perfect blend of that right there. You appease your little, racist ideologies, appease that with the way that he speaks, but then you get the accurate looking portrayal of Khan.
I think Naveen could do the accent though, because he did pretty. He did. Consider a perfect Middle Eastern accent, playing an Iraqi soldier, and Lost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so
it's always funny to hear people like him or Henry Cavill speak in interviews.
Yes,
it's like
wait, whoa.
I didn't even know that Henry Cavill was British until I saw my first interview with him a year ago, and I was like, whoa.
I knew he was. But you hear him in Man of Steel, or you hear him in what was the other movie he was in? About the Greek gods. So the gods or something like that. But anyways, you hear him.
He was in a Mission Impossible flick.
So,
one of the 19 million of those so far.
But you hear him in the movies, and then you would think, oh, okay, well, guy sounds like, he's Midwestern, cornbread fed type of dude. And then all of a sudden, hello, how you doing? Like, what the fuck? See, you see how they just right there, not quite a violation. Not quite.
Yeah.
Skirting the edge on that one.
They are skirting the edge on that. But no. Oh well, it is what it is. But I am looking forward to this audio drama. I only have two cast
absolutely.
members listed here so far. Obviously, the aforementioned Naveen Andrews is playing Khan Noonien Singh, and Ren
Mhm.
Schmidt is voicing Lieutenant Marla McGivers. So
Okay.
I'm
So
assuming we'll
yeah.
get to learn her struggles on the planet. According to Star Trek II, it was the little brain worm thing that ended up killing her. So
Mhm.
I'm assuming in this series we'll get to hear about her, eventual death, of
So,
which
yeah.
Han blames Kirk, bases his whole revenge tour on that. So
Uh, here it is. Immortals. That's the name of the movie. And Henry
Immortals,
Cavill was in.
okay.
Yes.
And I never even stopped to think logically, oh my God, he was one of the stars of the Tudors, right? I mean, isn't that a British television show?
Yeah.
At least it's based on British people. I don't know if it was made by British.
Yeah. The same thing with what's his name? Christian Bale. You don't think he has the accent that he has, because you hear him in the Dark Knight, series like that, and you see him in American Psycho, all the other movies and stuff like that he's done, and you don't think that because what's he from, like Australia or New Zealand?
I think he's from the UK also. Christian Bale.
Eh,
Chris Hemsworth. There's another funny one.
yes. Let's
He's
see.
from Australia.
Okay, he's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah. That's from
Christian
Australia.
Bale was
Christian
born
Bale
in Pembrokeshire, Wales.
in Wales. Yeah, so okay, you hear Christian Bale and you don't think he has an accent like that, because you hear him in the Dark Knight. And it's like, oh, this dude was born in Connecticut, or he was born in upstate New York.
Right, right. I mean, and I do terrible British accents, but I mean, it wouldn't have the same effect if he jumps out of the darkness in a bat suit and he's like, hello, chaps, I'm Batman. Fancy
Hello,
the
Governor.
chaps. I mean,
Hello, Governor. I'm Batman. You care for a spot of tea? I'm like, what? That's not good. That's not very intimidating.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, Margot Robbie, yeah. And you hear her as Harley Quinn and you think, oh yeah, she was born, in deep within, Brooklyn or Manhattan or something like that, Just hear her talking. It blows your mind.
Even though I've seen her in movies where she's done multiple American accents, I don't think I could ever accept probably one of the most beautiful women in the world, Kate Beckinsale, talking to me in any way other than her native English accent. Like that just puts it right over the top for me. So
yeah, agreed.
Oh, and she's divorced. We're the same age, honey. We're the same age. I'm single. You're single. I'm just saying.
Call.
Welcome to the Nerdquisition dating episode.
Dating episode where we try to get Gretchen laid.
No, we're not going to do that. Unless it's Kate Beckinsale. But anyway.
Unless it's Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale. Call.
But I got to looking at a couple of things here. I was pretty interested in this. I don't know how it popped up as I was doing some research on this show. Fictional characters who have appeared in the most films.
Huh. Well, that's an interesting kind of trivia question on that one.
There is an interesting one. Now, just to throw this out there, this one blew my mind. It doesn't surprise me that it's this character, but the number blew me away.
Okay.
Count Dracula is the fictional character that has appeared in the most movies and television shows.
Okay.
Portrayed over 538 times.
Jesus Christ. And that's quite the multiverse of Draculas.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean,
but I mean,
the book is barely 120 years old. 100,
yeah,
120, 130 years old. 538.
But I mean, I suppose over the past, 100 years or so of just radio and TV, movies. Yeah, I could see. I guess I could kind of see,
and
over that many, yeah.
Not only does that character hold the world record for most appearances in television and movies, there are other movies in production as we speak. I mean, there's
of course
always some kind of Dracula.
It's always something, yeah,
coming out. So, but I mean, that's crazy. Second place is Sherlock Holmes.
Huh.
With like 200 and some.
Okay.
Appearances, 272 portrayals. Let's see.
I always found one of the more interesting ones was the Sherlock show that came out. It was like 10 years ago. Almost like 10 years ago, something like maybe a little bit more than 10 years ago with Benedict Cumberbatch. That was
with Martin Freeman.
Yes.
As Dr. Watson.
As Watson, yes.
They were like 2-hour episodes.
Yeah, like hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
2-hour episodes, and they had like 5 or 6 episodes per season. One of the, I don't remember who played him, but one of the best on-screen adaptations of Moriarty I've ever seen. That guy was terrifying. Oh, yes.
Probably
the best season of that show. He shook Sherlock up. And that is a show that Benedict Cumberbatch thrived in.
So yeah, that was the show that show put him on the map. That show got him attention to that show got Marvel's attention. Have him as Doctor Strange.
So here's an amendment to my statement, though. So Count Dracula is the most portrayed literary character from a literary source.
Okay.
With Sherlock Holmes in second place. We're just going straight portrayals of fictional characters. This one's funny. The Devil has been featured in 849 films and television episodes. The second most common character, not far behind, Santa Claus. God isn't even in second place. It's the devil.
Not even. It's the devil and Santa Claus. Not even Jesus.
Nope. Third is the Grim Reaper.
Of course.
Jesus Christ comes in at fourth place, and God at fifth place. This is how I know when people are like, all those uber Christians out there, the evangelicals are like, we're so oppressed. You're oppressing yourselves.
Right.
I would rather watch a show about your fictional book's greatest enemy than the hero, the supposed hero of the story.
Like there's a show called Lucifer. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've watched Lucifer more than you.
I've seen that. I mean, and I know there were the Oh God movies with space in the 80s, the cigar smoking dude.
Oh my God. Dudley Moore. Was it Dudley
Burns.
Moore? George Burns. That's it.
Yeah. Dudley Moore did Arthur.
Arthur, that's one I was thinking of, yes.
I hate that movie. I didn't really get the Oh God movies either. I wasn't a big fan of a lot of the comedies of like that era. I mean, there's a lot of good 80s comedies I liked. I mean, I could look back at stuff like my brain is freezing up on me. Modern Problems with Chevy Chase when he gets the powers with all the green slime on. That was vacation movies are funny, stuff like that. But oh god, I think it was like adult humor. So when I saw it as a kid, it didn't really
resonate with you. Yeah, and then
it had, I mean, the first one had John Denver in it. Come on. Anyway, yes. Even with George Burns' famous 3 movies, there's Oh God, Book 2, and Oh God, You Devil, where he played the devil also.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's still.
I remember that one, yeah.
Hundreds of like 500
just
spots behind God.
Yeah.
Or behind the devil.
Considering from, movies like that to where the comedies, and then from like, what's the one, the Johnny Depp one with 9 Circles of Hell?
The Ninth Gate?
Ninth Gate, that's it. That's it, the one with Johnny Depp it was done by Roman Polanski. Yeah.
It's a 1999 film. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, between
Roman Polanski, the famous directorial rapist.
Yes. The famous rapist pedophile. That's
gross.
Hmm.
Hey, I don't even know if he's still alive. Is he still alive? Is Roman Polanski still alive?
I don't
write Trump a letter and say,
I hope not.
He is alive. He's 91 years old. Hey, you're 91. Shoot your shot. Write a letter to Trump. Maybe he'll pardon you too.
Hey, why not?
That seems to be Trump's gig. He likes to do. I mean, he says he knows nothing about Andrew Tate, but he's back in the U.S.
He's here. Everybody's. No, hey. For all we know, all Roman Polanski has to do now is just cut a check for $5 million, and he come right back on there through the front door.
Right back on. But on the subject of characters who have appeared in multiple appearances, obviously in animation, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny are at the top of the list. Godzilla is Japan's most famous and frequent appearing fictional character in movies.
I believe that.
Obviously,
yeah. Because Godzilla.
James Bond has had 27 movies, and we're rumored to be getting some more soon. Tarzan, not really close to any of those, but has quite, a large filmography himself. Has been in quite a few films and television shows, and Frankenstein. And even though he doesn't have a ton of movies, there's a lot. Batman never leaves box office for very long. He always comes back every few years with a new incarnation. And am I hearing this right? Is Keanu Reeves going to be portraying the voice of Batman in a new animated series?
I think so. I heard something about that. I heard something that he was going to do a voice. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a Batman or what, but I heard something about him doing a voice. Let's see. Oh
wow. Okay. So Keanu Reeves is set to play Bruce Wayne Batman in the 2025 film, the animated film, The Batman. But he's already done Batman apparently. In 2022, he portrayed Batman in the animated film DC League of Super Pets.
Okay, cool. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Cool.
But is Batman an animated film, or is it? He's set to. It says set to play Bruce Wayne Batman. It doesn't say voice. And how does that fit in with don't we still have the Robert Pattinson movie coming up, the sequel to that one?
Yes. Yep. That one is still coming. I think that one is taking place in its own separate universe. So they're starting to do a little bit more multiverse movies now. So I don't know. He voiced Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
I know that one.
We talked about that. Talked about that before we started the show. So, needless to say, for anybody that's watching, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I didn't like it. I'm just gonna say flat out, just didn't like it. It was okay movie, but I just don't like. I don't like the movies where it takes place in the real world, and I've never liked movies like that. So,
listen to what this is saying. We have complained about that multiple times.
See, yes, and within the Sonic universe, there's such within the Sonic games, there's such just so much they could have done with that movie and just staying within the Sonic world, but for years I kept saying about Transformers need to quit having humans and being on Earth and all this other stuff like that, but it didn't happen until Transformers 1. Then we see
be crushed like jelly.
Yes.
Any confrontation between Transformers, I just don't understand.
I don't get it.
Why that's a thing.
I don't get it.
I did want to point out something though, that the media made a mistake, because I saw a teaser poster the other day that Nicholas, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Galatzine, he's playing Adam / He-Man in the Masters of the Universe 2026 movie. And I saw his teaser poster, and the article was like, they posted, there's a teaser poster of a shirtless He-Man. He wasn't shirtless. He was wearing his harness. He was holding his power sword up in front of it, though. If you look, you can see the straps going over his shoulder and under his arm.
All right.
He's not shirtless. He was wearing the famous, he
was wearing,
outfit.
Yeah. He was wearing the thing. It's a
connect a chain to it, and Skeletor can lock him to the floor at the basement of Snake Mountain.
Let me see. Let me try to pronounce it. Nicholas Galatzine. Or Galatzine? It's either
Galatzine?
Galatzine?
Who knows?
I don't know. He looks... Just judging by the looks, he looks kind of small to play He-Man, but
he does. I think he's 6 feet tall, but he's been bulking up. A lot of the articles I've read. Obviously, he doesn't look anything like the action figures or the characters in the animated
well, of course
shows.
not. Yeah,
just grossly.
But then again,
muscles.
But then again, there's She-Hulk. There's She-Hulk with Tatiana Maslany, and she is she's really short, very tiny, and then the CGI they did on her for She-Hulk. So yeah, all right.
It was good.
I can see that.
So we'll have to see, but going back to Henry Cavill for a minute, this guy has got his mitts in all kinds of nerddom.
Yes.
Superman. He got to play Wolverine. There's a rumor going around. Again, I was talking about clickbait on Facebook earlier. I couldn't find anything to confirm it. Somebody's saying that he was going to be portraying Wolverine again in the upcoming World War Hulk MCU film, but there's no mention of that movie even being made.
As far as I know, I haven't seen any kind of official thing about it. Maybe it's something that Marvel is working on, as far as before they get into the whole Secret Wars thing they're going to do. Maybe, but I haven't seen it. I've heard rumors of it, but I haven't seen anything else of other than that. Which honestly, it just surprised me seeing him portray Wolverine in the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie.
The Cavalrine.
Yeah. That kind of surprised me on that one. But I could see him. I could definitely see him playing Wolverine, though. Because he definitely looked the part. But I think everybody's more used to Hugh Jackman. So. But still.
But I mean, he's coming up. He's going to be in the Voltron live action movie, which is in production right now. There was another rumor. I was looking at it just a little bit ago when we were at the beginning of the show. When we were talking about Thundercats. There's a rumor that he's going to be in that movie as well, possibly as Lion-O himself. Now, these are just predictions and stuff like that. But David Wingard, who's directing the movie, said he wants to create a hyper-real look that blends cartoon with CGI. This makes me feel good. He is not interested in making a Cats-style live-action version of Thundercat.
Oh,
so they will not look like the Cats from the Broadway.
That's good.
He says he wants to stay true to the Thundercats' appearance and embrace the 80s aesthetic of the original series. So.
All right. How is this not like the big 80s hairdo? Where it's like that big, it like goes off at like a little thing pointed out.
Oh yeah, he's got the curled up Wolverine style haircut, just on steroids. Yeah, I don't think I can handle that. But, these are all interesting things. I mean, at least Voltron is in production. We're still looking at pre-production for Thundercats, and I've been hearing rumors about that for years. So I'm not going to get super excited about that until I've got something.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Voltron to see how that one is, because I've been a Voltron fan for since '86.
Well, yeah, since it came out, I remember watching the first episodes, at least when it got translated to the U.S., because it started in Japan first. But we've had whole episodes about Voltron. It wouldn't even be a bad idea to do another one down the road and actually go back and revisit like specific episodes rather than just talk about it in a general sense. Talk about some of the cooler storylines. We still need to at some point talk about Robotech, especially the Macross saga.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of the ones that came after with like the motorcycles and stuff like that. I don't remember what that version was called. Macross was groundbreaking.
Well, Macross at that point, I think it had just been simply called just Robotech, and
might have been.
In which I had a few of the Macross toys. Of course, I had the Veritech fighters, but I had one of the Cycle ones, and the Cycle episodes were okay, but definitely the Macross with the Veritech fighters and Rick Hunter and that.
Right, Min May and Lisa Hayes and
Primo,
Zentradi
and with the Zentradi, with Zentradi, Lisa and Min May, that,
and Missy Chrissy, who popped into our TikTok chat, she mentioned something. I'm not sure when that comment came in about how frail the human body is. I can only imagine she's referring to our comments about how humans should not be in the middle of a battle between giant transforming robots.
Absolutely not. I mean, why? Because here's the thing. It'll be another Godzilla versus Bambi. That's it. It's a Godzilla versus Bambi situation. Because how many times you look at the size of even just smaller ones. Let's just say Bumblebee. Bumblebee's one of the smaller size ones. Still, squish.
He still can't stand up in your garage without punching through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, Yeah, and even just accidentally. But I mean, like, what's the I don't know, literary or theatrical device? I think it's like called a Rube Goldberg or something, where like everything just happens in a way that perfectly works out for the character. Kind of like the barrels going down the river in the Hobbit movies.
Yeah, yeah.
They just happened, everything worked out perfectly for them. Like when Sam was running from Megatron in the first Transformers movie.
Mm-hmm.
He just happened to get through that building being crushed around him without a scratch.
Yeah. And just happened to go through and, you know, and didn't take like a wrong turn in the building that obviously that he'd never been in before.
Yeah, you haven't been to that city before, kid. How'd you even know where to go? I wouldn't have known where to go. I'd have hidden in a corner and probably got crushed by rubble.
Right?
Or Megatron just burst through a wall and grab you and squeeze you. What, you don't have to be like, give me the cube, boy. No, I'm going to squeeze you. I'm going to make all your juice come out, and then I'm going to take the cube.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really...
Humans are gross.
So, yeah, I mean, it would have been nothing for Megatron just to grab him, squeeze him, and then just like, ugh. And then just wipe him off on like just... And just do like how we would do if we squash a bug. We just... wipe them off.
And these are things, all of you aspiring writers out there of science fiction and fantasy, there's a few things that you really need to avoid. I don't know if it was George Orwell who wrote it, like that there's a list of like things you should never do in a book. But these are the things that really bug me when you're writing a story that's either science fiction or fantasy. First of all, do not give me main characters that have no control over the events taking place around them. They're just reacting to everything happening. The main character should affect the story in some way or another.
Yeah.
The Rube Goldberg thing, that accidentally getting exactly where you need to be, that should never happen. And Ex Machina, these elaborate devices that are way more elaborate than they need to be to
solve the simplest of problems.
To solve a simple problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
those are my three big pet peeves when it comes to, especially irritating to me when it's sci-fi or fantasy. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, for me, it's mostly continuity.
Continuity is another thing.
For me, it's mostly continuity because whatever you establish at the beginning, I can live with. You know, whatever, you know, need a suspense of disbelief I need to have. Okay, cool. I can live with that. But once in, like, say, in the middle of your story or near the end, everything changes, then you've lost me. You've lost me, and I don't like it. I hate it. It's the worst thing ever. It needs to go into the garbage. I hate it.
If your character died 30 years ago, you're going to have to accept the fact that that character is dead.
Yes.
You don't need another movie or return appearance of that character, Bill.
Don't need that. If you want to do like the reminiscing stories of when they were alive, I can live with that. Cool. You know, it's not anything where it's new. It's just a retelling of a story that we just don't know. But hey, here's a new story that I just thought of, but I can, you know, adjust it to take place during this time. Cool. I can live with that. My main thing, continuity errors and the Ex Machina. I hate the Ex Machina.
Oh, absolutely.
And which I'm not sure if it's probably the same thing as an Ex Machina, but the obvious, the MacGuffin, the one item machine thing or two or whatever.
One item that we absolutely must have to.
That just completely solves everything.
Right. When you know what your best MacGuffin is your characters. You need your characters to solve the problem. You don't always need a ring or a sword or a cube or this or that, you know?
You don't need that. You know,
and
so
continuity wise, I'm looking at you, George, and also even Filoni and Favreau to a degree. I know Kathleen Kennedy's out at Star Wars. That's been some other big news. She'll be stepping down at the end of the year and being replaced. Who will be Star Wars' Feige, we ask.
Oof.
But if you write a trilogy and then you go back 20 years later and write a prequel trilogy to that trilogy and come up with an idea you wished would have been in the first trilogy, but you can have no way of logically putting it into your story, sorry, bro.
Sorry. I mean, maybe you could do a sequel series and you could evolve the story up to be, the idea that you wanted. Okay. Set that up in the beginning where, that process of evolution that we're going to be expecting. To where it leads into that idea that you had in mind for the very first, trilogy. I can understand that. And I can live with that. But
and speaking of continuity, ours is coming to an end. At least for this week. But we will maintain continuity next week again when we come back and we review the Season 2, Episode 13 of Star Trek, the original series, Session. We'll be back next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching on TikTok, on the YouTube channels. We've had people kind of all over, dancing in and out all day.
Yes.
We'll be back tonight on the Villains View at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't believe that the Kennedy Effect is airing today. So I believe that pretty much ends our broadcast run on GCPR between now and 9
till 9 o'clock. Yes. Till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And then at 11 p.m. we'll have T. Nathan, conversations with T. Nathan as we do 7 nights a week. And we're not sure yet whether Thomas will be on the Villains View tonight. He's been down under the weather a little bit. And there's some talk about whether he'll be starting your week off tomorrow with the Sound of Coffee. We're not sure how that's going to work out yet. If he can't, we are looking for a co-host or a fill-in host. We'll see how that works out. But we'll keep you updated. Check in the Villains View tonight, BCPR, right here.
You'll find out for sure.
You'll find out for sure. Other than that, get us out of here, Gilbert.
Other than that, great show, great episode, great discussion afterwards. William Shatner said, William Shatner, let Kirk die. Let him stay dead. Just let him stay dead.
Thank you, Jay Thomas, again for that.
Thank you, Jay Thomas, for the Bill Shatner.
That was Jay Thomas's are you Tony Stank moment.
Yes. That is Tony Stank.
Thank you for
that. That will live on in infamy as William Shatner. And on that, everyone, please keep your triple spayed and neutered. Find us on the Rules of Nerdquisition on YouTube. Make sure to like, share, subscribe with all your friends, all your enemies, and everybody in between. Take care, everybody. Live long and prosper. See you tonight on the Villains View.
Recording stopped.